Welcome back to English Practice Today. Before we begin, I want you to imagine something simple. Imagine that your fluency in English is not built by big moments or long study sessions, but by tiny decisions you make every day. Decisions that feel so small you barely notice them. Yet, they change everything. Most people believe fluency is a mountain, something huge that you climb once and suddenly reach the top. They imagine long grammar lessons, hours of vocabulary study, endless practice. But what if the truth is much quieter and much kinder? What if fluency grows slowly and silently, like a seed hidden under soft soil? That is the story we begin today. Not a story about shortcuts or magic solutions, but a story about habits. The habits that build your English. The habits that build your future. And the habits that gently shape who you are becoming. Before we start today's practice, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like this video and turn on the notifications. That way you'll never miss a new English lesson. Now let's begin. So take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. Let your mind open softly. Your journey starts now. Let's begin with a simple truth. Big goals fail and small habits win. Imagine a very common English learner. Maybe someone like you. At the start of the year, they feel motivated. They tell themselves, I will study every day. I will learn 50 new words this week. I will become fluent. They buy notebooks, apps, maybe even expensive courses. Day 1 feels amazing. Day 2 still feels strong. Day 3 is okay. But by week 2, things start shifting. They get tired. Life becomes busy again. Their plan starts to break. Week 3 arrives, and they lose consistency. By week 4, the routine is gone. If this has happened to you, don't be ashamed. You are not the problem. Your motivation is not weak. Your discipline is not broken. The real issue is that the goal was simply too big, too heavy, too demanding for your daily life. The human brain is not made for dramatic change. It resists pressure. It resists overload. When something feels big, the brain says, not today. I'll do it later. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. And slowly, the routine disappears. This is why so many learners stop. But habits work differently. Habits are small and simple. They do not require motivation. They do not require discipline. They become automatic steps your brain performs almost without thinking. Inside your mind, there is a structure called the basal ganglia. It is the quiet engine that takes repeated actions and turns them into effortless routines. That is how you brush your teeth every morning without planning it. That is how you walk. That is how you check your phone. Actions repeated enough times become habits your brain performs without debate. And this same mechanism can build your English. Every time you read a sentence, every time you listen to 1 minute of audio, every time you repeat a simple phrase. Every tiny moment reinforces a path inside your brain. The path may feel small. It may feel slow. It may feel invisible. But it is real. With repetition, this path becomes smooth, strong, automatic. Fluency does not come from 1 hour of study. Fluency grows from 5 minutes repeated consistently over time. Your brain cares less about the size of the action and more about the frequency. Consistency builds fluency. Small daily English creates enormous long-term results. There is another truth that most learners ignore. Habits do not only build skills, they build identity. Most learners focus on goals. They think, I want fluency. I want confidence. I want to speak faster. But goals don't create habits. Identity does. Identity is the quiet voice inside that says, I am the kind of person who learns every day. I am an English speaker. I am someone who grows a little more each day. When your habits shape your identity begins to shape your actions. If your small daily habit is reading just one English sentence before bed, you begin to see yourself as someone who studies. You feel consistent. You feel capable. And naturally you begin to do more. Not because you force yourself, but because it feels like you. So now I ask you, who are you becoming through your habits? Not your goals. Not your dreams. Your habits. Because your habits are your future in slow motion. Now let's look at how tiny habits build real fluency. Think again about English as a garden. Huge goals are like trying to grow a tree in one day. It simply doesn't work. But tiny habits are like watering the soil a little every morning. At first, nothing seems to change. You water the soil and see nothing. You feel no progress. It feels useless. But underground, something is happening. Roots are forming. The seed is preparing. Growth is beginning, even if you don't see it. Your English works the same way. Maybe you read for 2 minutes. Maybe you listen for 3. Maybe you repeat 5 simple phrases. These moments feel small, almost too small to matter. But they accumulate. They build layers. They stack quietly until one day something surprising happens. You understand a sentence you couldn't understand before. You say something faster than expected. You feel a little more confident, a little more comfortable, a little more fluent. This is not a sudden explosion. It is a sunrise. Slow, gentle, unstoppable. Many people quit learning English because they expect progress to be fast. They want big changes and dramatic results. But fluency does not grow loudly. It grows in silence. Day by day, progress feels invisible. But month by month, everything changes. The learners who truly succeed are not the smartest or the fastest. They're the ones who return every day for 5 minutes. 5 minutes that feel small but are powerful. 5 minutes that build the identity of someone who always moves forward. Someone who never stops. Someone who grows. 5 minutes a day, repeated 300 times, is stronger than 30 minutes repeated once a week. Fluency doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. You are capable of this. You are ready for this. And your habits can take you further than you imagine. This is only the beginning of the journey. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You are lying in your bed. The room is quiet. The night feels calm. Your breathing slows. Your eyes become heavy. Little by little, your body begins to rest. But inside your mind, something completely different begins to happen. Even when you sleep, your brain enters a secret world filled with activity. While your body relaxes, your brain works in silence, almost like a small city that never closes. During the day, your mind is full of noise, movement, responsibilities, screens, messages, and thoughts. But at night, the brain enters a gentle rhythm. It moves into cycles of light sleep, deep sleep, and dream sleep. These cycles repeat again and again, and each one plays a special role in how you learn, how you remember, and how you grow. Many people think sleep is simple, like turning off a light. But sleep is much more like the ocean. It has waves, levels, movements, and secrets. Even when everything looks calm on the surface, there is life and energy working below. Inside your head, this energy does something extraordinary. It organizes your memories, your emotions, and even the things you learn during the day. Imagine your mind as a desk full of papers. Some papers are important. Some papers are not. All day, new papers fall onto the desk. Words you learned. Conversations you heard. Feelings you experienced. And when you sleep, your brain becomes the person who finally sits down and organizes everything. It keeps the papers that matter. It throws away the ones that don't. It creates order from the chaos. This process is called memory consolidation, but you can simply think of it as the brain putting things in the right place. This includes language. If you studied English during the day, your brain looks at that information again at night. It reviews it. It strengthens it. It decides what stays. This is why sometimes you study something today, feel confused, but after a good night of sleep, it suddenly feels easier. Your brain is doing the work you cannot see. Now, many learners wonder if the brain can learn English during sleep. Not fully. But can your brain reinforce the English you studied before going to bed? Yes. Can sleep make your memory stronger? Yes. Can sleep help your listening become more natural and more comfortable? Yes. These things are real. Not magic, not shortcuts, but real processes in your brain. Imagine this. Before sleeping, you study 10 simple English words. You repeat them. You listen to them in a short story. You feel calm and focused. Your brain receives a message that these words are meaningful to you. Then, during sleep, the brain returns to these words. It examines them again. It strengthens the connections. It makes them easier to find tomorrow. If you hear the same words softly while sleeping, your brain may reinforce them even more. Not because it is learning something new, but because it recognizes the sound. It whispers to itself, "Yes, I know this. Let me save it deeper." Think of your brain like a garden. During the day, you plant seeds. Each new word, each small phrase, each sound is a seed. At night, your brain waters the garden. It gives each seed a little more strength. It protects it. It helps it grow. But the brain cannot grow seeds that were never planted. That is why daytime study is still essential. Sleep is not the teacher. Sleep is the helper. Sleep is the silent gardener. Scientists also discovered something important about emotions. When you feel something while learning, your brain pays attention. If a story makes you smile, if a sentence feels meaningful, if a phrase is connected to something real in your life, your mind says, "This is important. Let me keep it." That is why using content you enjoy is so powerful. If the audio is boring, difficult, or stressful, your brain will not save it. It will treat it like background noise. Sleep learning works best when the English you hear is familiar, simple, and emotionally pleasant. When the audio is gentle, slow, and clear, your brain naturally accepts it. This is why peaceful English stories, soft vocabulary loops, and calm voices work better than complicated podcasts or grammar lessons. Imagine hearing a short, simple English story before bed. You know the story already. When you play it again softly as you fall asleep, the words feel like quiet rain. They enter your ears without pressure. Your mind recognizes them. It does not analyze. It does not translate. It simply lets the sounds flow. These sounds become familiar. They stop feeling strange. They stop feeling scary. They become part of your night, part of your dreams, part of your mental language environment. This familiarity is incredibly powerful. When your brain becomes comfortable with English, your fear decreases. When fear decreases, speaking becomes easier. The words come faster, not because you memorized them perfectly, but because your brain stopped fighting them. Fluency begins with comfort. Comfort begins with familiarity. Familiarity can be created in the day and supported gently at night. Your brain is always listening, even in silence. When you sleep, the world becomes quiet enough for your mind to breathe, to heal, to organize, to connect. And sometimes in that quiet place, English can grow without noise, without pressure, without stress. Now imagine this. You wake up after a night of calm, soft English listening. You feel rested. You drink water. You begin your day. And suddenly, when you want to say something in English, a word appears in your mind more quickly than before. A sentence feels smoother. A phrase feels more natural. You didn't force it. You didn't struggle. The knowledge is simply there, like a small gift your mind prepared for you during the night. Learning does not need to be loud. It does not need to be heavy. Your brain is not a machine that works only when you push it. It is alive, gentle, intelligent, and creative. It learns in silence. It grows in calm. It remembers in peace. And sleep is one of the most natural tools you have to support your English. Let the night be your partner. Let rest become part of your study. Let sleep help you in the way only sleep can. And slowly, gently, softly, your English will begin to bloom like a quiet garden that opens its flowers when no one is watching. And now, as you continue this quiet journey into the night, imagine something even more interesting. Imagine that every evening becomes a gentle invitation for your brain to receive English in a peaceful, natural way. Instead of studying with pressure or stress, you learn to study with calm and intention. You begin to understand that English is not something you must fight with. It is something you can grow slowly and kindly with patience and repetition. When you treat your learning this way, something beautiful begins to happen. The language stops feeling like a mountain you cannot climb. It becomes a path you walk step by step. A path that meets you where you are, not where you think you should be. And every step counts. Every small effort matters. Even the quiet ones at night. Many learners around the world feel guilty when they cannot study for long hours. They think they are not good enough, not disciplined enough, not talented enough. But none of that is true. Learning a language is not about force. It is about rhythm. It is about consistency. And it is about creating an environment where your brain feels safe and open to learning. Think about how children learn languages. They do not sit with textbooks. They do not memorize long vocabulary lists. They listen. They repeat. They hear the same words again and again in different moments of the day. And little by little, the language becomes part of their mind. Not through pressure, but through exposure, comfort, and repetition. You can learn the same way, even as an adult, even if your schedule is full, even if your life is busy. Your brain is always ready to learn, especially when you treat it with kindness. This is why nighttime learning is powerful. Not because it teaches you everything, but because it helps your brain relax into the language. Listening while you sleep is not about perfection. It is about comfort. It is about letting English enter your mind with no fear, no judgment, no pressure. It is about letting your brain explore the sounds of a new language as if they were gentle waves touching the shore. If you listen to English every night, your brain begins to change its relationship with the language. At first, the sounds feel foreign. Then they feel familiar. And finally, they feel natural. You begin to understand not because you study harder, but because your brain becomes used to the music of English. This familiarity is the foundation of fluency. Fluency is not about speaking fast. It is not about using difficult words. Fluency is the sensation of comfort when your mind receives a language. When you stop translating. When you stop hesitating. When you simply allow the language to live inside you. And when you sleep, your brain is in the perfect state to create this comfort. In the silence of the night, without distractions, without stress, without responsibilities, your mind processes what you learned. It organizes. It strengthens. It lets go of what is unnecessary. It protects what is important. It finds patterns. It connects ideas. It prepares you for the next day. Imagine your waking mind and your sleeping mind working together like partners. During the day, you listen, read, repeat, and learn. At night, your brain reviews, strengthens, and deepens. And then, little by little, the language becomes part of your thoughts, your dreams, your comfort zone. You might not feel the change immediately, but one day you will speak a sentence you never practiced before, and you will surprise yourself. You will ask, "How did I say that? Where did that come from?" And the answer will be simple. It came from the quiet work your brain has been doing all along. This is the secret of learning gently. You do not need to force English. You need to invite it. You need to welcome it. You need to create a place where it can grow naturally. English is not a task. It is not a test. It is a companion on your journey. And your journey becomes easier when you walk with peace inside you. Now imagine your future self. You wake up one morning. You feel calm. You feel confident. You speak English and it flows more smoothly than before. You do not panic when you hear someone speaking quickly. You do not freeze when someone asks you a question. You breathe. You respond. You trust yourself. This confidence did not arrive suddenly. It came from many nights of gentle contact with the language, many mornings of repetition, many evenings of small practice. Many moments where you chose calm instead of perfection. And all of it grew together inside your mind. This kind of learning is powerful because it honors your humanity. It respects the natural way your brain works. And it supports your growth without pushing you into stress or fear. As you continue this journey, remember something important. You are not alone. Every English learner in the world has felt the same doubts, the same fears, the same frustrations. But they also found their strength. They found their rhythm. And you will too. Your brain wants to learn. It loves language. It loves patterns. It loves stories. It loves repetition. When you give it these things softly and consistently, English becomes easier. And sleep becomes one of your greatest allies. Tonight, when you go to bed, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind slow down. Choose a short English audio you like. Something familiar. Something simple. Something that feels gentle. Play it softly as you close your eyes. Trust your brain. Trust the process. Trust the quiet. You are learning. Even now. Even when you rest. Even when you dream. And as you drift into this calm space where learning feels natural, imagine how your evenings begin to transform. Your nightly routine becomes a gentle ritual, not a chore. You are no longer trying to squeeze English into your day with stress or guilt. Instead, English becomes a soft companion that joins you as you move from wakefulness into rest. Every night, as the world around you becomes quiet, your mind becomes open. And this openness is powerful. Scientists say that in the moments right before sleep, your brain becomes more sensitive to emotion, tone, and rhythm. This is why bedtime stories stay in our memories even years later. And this is why English, spoken gently at night, can enter your mind in a deeper way. Imagine lying in bed after a long day. You take a slow breath. Your body sinks into the mattress. Your muscles relax. Your eyes feel heavy. But inside your mind, something begins to shine. A small light. A soft curiosity. A gentle readiness to receive new sounds and patterns. This is your learning window. It opens naturally every night without effort. When you play English audio during this window, the words enter your mind more softly, more peacefully. And because the brain does not feel pressure, the language flows more freely. The sentences sound like calm waves. The rhythm feels like a breeze. The words float in and settle quietly in your memory. This is not a miracle. It is simply the way your brain works best. Pressure closes the mind. Peace opens it. During the day, you may feel distracted or rushed. You may feel tired or stressed. Learning feels harder then. But at night, everything slows down. Your brain becomes like a quiet room. And in that room, English has space to grow. Think of your mind as a gentle landscape. During the day, the wind of thoughts moves quickly. At night, the wind slows. And in the stillness, seeds of language fall into the soil and begin to take root. You may not notice them growing, but they are. Quietly, calmly, consistently. Slow growth is still growth. And this is one of the greatest lessons in language learning. You do not need big results every day. You only need consistent contact. A few minutes of English in the morning. A short review in the evening. A soft audio while you sleep. Day after day, your brain collects these moments and builds something strong from them. Confidence. Many learners feel that confidence comes later, after they become skilled. But the truth is different. Confidence is a feeling you build from familiarity. The more familiar English becomes, the more confident you feel around it. When you hear English at night, without judgment or pressure, that familiarity grows. The language stops feeling strange. You stop fearing mistakes. You stop overthinking grammar. You begin to feel that English is simply another voice in your life. A voice you can follow. A voice you can join. The next time you hear English during the day, your reaction will be different. Instead of panic, you will feel calm. Instead of confusion, you will feel recognition. Instead of fear, you will feel possibility. This shift is quiet, but powerful. Imagine yourself speaking English a few months from now. Your sentences come easier. Your thoughts flow more naturally. You smile because you feel the difference. And all of this began with small moments. Moments of listening. Moments of rest. Moments of softness. Your night learning supports your day learning. Your day learning supports your night learning. They work together like two hands holding the same goal. You don't have to push harder. You don't have to force anything. You only need to keep going. And as you continue, something else begins to change inside you. You start to trust yourself more. You start to believe that you can learn English. Not perfectly, not instantly, but steadily, gently, naturally. This belief is powerful. It removes the weight from your heart. It gives you space to grow. It turns English from a source of stress into a source of curiosity. Many learners think they need talent. They think they need the perfect teacher, or the perfect textbook, or the perfect environment. But your greatest tool is something much simpler. Your mind. When your mind feels safe, calm, and open, learning happens easily. You begin to absorb English the same way you absorb music. Naturally, without forcing, without fear. This is why nighttime practice is so special. In the silence of the night, your mind rests. And in rest, it learns differently. Not by effort, but by acceptance. Not by pressure, but by presence. Tonight, as you prepare for bed, try something gentle. Choose one short English audio. Something simple and pleasant. Listen to it once while you are awake. Feel the rhythm. Notice the tone. Let the meaning touch you softly. Then play it again as you fall asleep. Let the words stay with you like soft footsteps in a quiet room. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to try. Just listen. Just breathe. Just allow. Your brain will take what you give it and grow from it in the ways it knows best. Even now, as you listen to this, your mind is absorbing patterns, sounds, and structures. You are learning without realizing it. You are growing without seeing it. But the growth is real. It is happening quietly beneath the surface, like roots strengthening under the earth. One day, these quiet roots will support a powerful tree, your fluency. And when that day comes, you will look back and realize that every small moment mattered. every night of listening, every breath of patience, every whisper of English in the dark. It all counted. It all built something inside you. You are becoming an English speaker, not by force but by flow, not by stress but by softness, not by pushing but by trusting the slow, gentle wisdom of your own mind. Keep listening. Keep relaxing. Keep believing in yourself. The language is entering you softly and naturally every time you breathe, every time you rest, every time you open your heart to it. And this journey, your journey, is just beginning. And as you continue walking gently through this learning journey, you begin to notice small changes inside you, almost like tiny lights turning on one by one. They're easy to miss at first because they are quiet and subtle, but they are real. Maybe one morning you hear a phrase you learned days ago and without thinking, you understand it. Maybe you watch a short clip in English and your mind does not freeze the way it used to. Maybe you try to say a simple sentence and it comes out smoother than before. These moments feel small, but they are powerful. They show you that your brain is adapting. They show you that the repetition, the calmness, the nightly listening, and the trust you have built are all working beneath the surface. Learning a language is not a straight line. It is not something you climb quickly like stairs. It is more like floating gently in a river. Some days the current is stronger. Some days it is slow. Some days it feels like nothing is moving at all. But underneath the surface, the water always flows forward, and you do too. Many people think they must constantly push themselves to learn. They believe progress comes only from pressure, long hours, and strict study sessions. But the truth is softer. Your brain learns better when it feels safe, curious, and peaceful. This is why the gentle approach works so well. You are learning in a way that respects your mind instead of overwhelming it. And you will notice something else. As English becomes part of your nights, it also becomes part of your days in a new way. You start hearing English around you even when no one is speaking it. A sentence echoes softly in your mind. A rhythm of words repeats itself. You begin thinking short thoughts in English. Maybe just a phrase here or there, but it happens naturally like a reflex. Your brain is practicing even when you are not trying. This is the gift of consistency. This is the gift of gentle exposure. When learning becomes part of your environment, your mind absorbs it the way a flower absorbs sunlight. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and before you even open your eyes, your mind whispers a sentence in English. Not because you forced it, but because it feels familiar now. This is when you realize something important. You are not just learning English. You are living it. And the more English becomes part of your inner world, the more your confidence grows. Confidence is not loud. It does not arrive suddenly. It grows like a small flame, protected from the wind, becoming stronger each day, fed by trust, repetition, and gentle practice. Every time you choose to listen instead of avoid, the flame grows. Every time you whisper a sentence aloud, the flame grows. Every time you allow yourself to make a mistake without fear, the flame grows. Every night you fall asleep with English in the background, the flame grows. With time, that small flame becomes something bright enough to guide you. Think about how children learn their first language. They do not study grammar books. They do not memorize lists. They listen. They repeat when they feel ready. They learn through rhythm, tone, and familiar patterns. Slowly, gently, naturally. This is exactly what you are doing. You are giving your brain the environment it prefers. You are creating a soft, natural learning space where English can plant its roots and grow the way language is meant to grow, through exposure, emotion, and repetition. Some days you may doubt yourself. Some days you may feel stuck. But these moments are not signs of failure. They're signs of growth. When you feel stuck, it means your brain is reorganizing and preparing to make a jump forward. Trust those moments. They are part of your journey. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and speaking English to yourself. At first you feel shy. You hesitate. You search for words. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Eventually you look into your own eyes and speak naturally, without fear. You begin to see yourself not as someone trying to learn English, but as someone who is learning English, someone who belongs to the language. Identity grows from action, and your actions, even the small ones, even the quiet ones, are shaping who you are becoming. You are becoming a learner who does not give up. You are becoming someone who learns with kindness. You are becoming someone who trusts the process. You are becoming someone who listens, absorbs, grows, and transforms. And as English becomes a part of your daily and nightly routine, you begin to carry it with you in everything you do. When you walk outside and feel the sun, a phrase in English may float into your thoughts. When you hear music, you may catch a word or two in English and smile quietly to yourself. When someone speaks near you, your brain may naturally try to translate or understand. These are beautiful signs. Signs that your mind is opening. Signs that English is not just a subject you study, but a companion you are welcoming into your life. You no longer feel like an outsider to the language. You feel like someone standing at the doorway, ready to enter. And one day, without even noticing the moment it happened, you will step fully inside. That is how real growth feels. Not dramatic, not explosive, but gentle, steady, and natural. Now imagine a different version of yourself months from now. You sit down to watch a movie in English. You understand more than you expected. You hear a sentence and think, I know that. You recognize the rhythm. You catch the emotion. Your heart feels lighter because what once felt impossible now feels reachable. And all of this, the improvement, the confidence, the comfort, comes from the simple, soft routines you're building. Morning listening, evening review, nighttime exposure, gentle repetition, and loving patience. This journey is yours. It belongs to no one else. And every small step you take is building something beautiful inside you. So keep going. Keep trusting. Keep listening. Your brain is listening too. It is learning in ways you cannot see. It is growing in places you cannot measure. It is preparing you for moments you have not lived yet. And this gentle, quiet, powerful transformation continues every time you close your eyes and let English flow into your dreams. The hours seem to move slowly when your mind is open and curious. Every thought becomes a little deeper, every memory a little brighter. As you listen to my voice, you may notice something gentle happening inside you. A small feeling of space. A soft clarity. It is as if a few quiet doors inside your mind begin to open one by one. Not quickly and not loudly. They simply open because the mind feels safe enough to explore. This is not magic. It is attention. And attention is the beginning of real learning. The kind of learning that stays with you long after the lesson ends. When you pay attention to something, even for a short moment, it grows. A small sound becomes meaningful. A simple phrase becomes familiar. A feeling slowly turns into understanding. Maybe this is why so many people learn best in quiet moments, when the world finally slows down and the brain can hear what it was trying to remember all day. Imagine your mind as a long hallway filled with doors. Each door leads to something different inside you. A memory, a dream, a fear, a goal, a habit you want to change. A question you have not answered yet. During the day, many of these doors stay open at the same time, and everything becomes noisy. Too many thoughts. Too many responsibilities. Too many worries. But at night, the hallway becomes quiet. Some doors close. Others open softly. You begin to access parts of yourself that were hidden during the busy hours. In these quiet moments, English can grow inside you in a gentle, natural way. Not as something stressful, not as something heavy, but as something warm and familiar. When you hear English softly at night, those phrases become warm lights along the hallway. They do not wake you. They simply guide your memory to the right places. And the beautiful part is that you do not need to force anything. The brain learns because it is alive. It learns because every sound leaves a trace. Every emotion leaves an imprint. Every repeated phrase becomes a small path inside your mind. When you hear a phrase during the day, the brain builds a weak connection. When you hear it again before sleep, that connection becomes stronger. When you hear it again softly during sleep, the brain begins to recognize it as something important, something familiar, something worth remembering. This is how fluency begins. Not with a single big moment of understanding, but with many tiny steps, many quiet repetitions, many nights in which the brain keeps working even after the body rests. Progress sometimes hides. You cannot always see it. But suddenly one day, something changes. One morning you speak a sentence without thinking too much. One afternoon you watch a short video in English and realize you understand more than before. One day a word appears naturally in your mind, almost like a whisper. That is not luck. That is quiet work. Work your brain has been doing for you even during sleep. Progress does not like noise. It grows in silence. This is why listening to English at night is not about shortcuts. It is about creating the right environment for your brain. It is about removing pressure. It is about letting the language settle into your memory with no stress, no deadlines, no fear. Learning becomes softer, and softness can be powerful. Imagine English as a seed planted in your mind. During the day, you water it with practice. In the evening, you give it sunlight by reviewing the words again. And at night, while you sleep, the roots grow deeper. You cannot see them, but the growth is happening. Every night the language becomes slightly more natural, slightly more familiar, slightly more yours. You do not need perfection. You do not need long hours. You need consistency and patience and kindness toward yourself. Learning English is not only about learning a language. It is about creating space inside yourself. It is about breathing more calmly. It is about accepting your pace and trusting your journey. Listening to English before and during sleep helps because it makes the language feel safe. It reduces fear. It lowers the volume of your doubts. It places English in a peaceful part of your mind where growth becomes easier. So continue gently. Continue without pressure. Right now, even as you listen, your brain is shaping new memories. New pathways are forming. New associations are growing stronger. Your English future is being built quietly, softly, deeply. Every word you hear becomes a small light. Every repetition becomes a root. Every night becomes part of your journey. Your journey is unique. Your journey is growing. And your journey is already happening inside you in this very moment. As you continue listening, allow yourself to imagine how your English will feel weeks from now, months from now. Not perfect, not finished, but alive. Growing quietly inside you, growing in the background while you live your life, while you work, while you rest, while you sleep. The most beautiful part of learning is that you do not always notice the change while it is happening. The change appears later, in moments that surprise you. You will be speaking to someone and suddenly the right word comes to you. You will be reading something and realize you did not translate in your mind. You will be listening to English and feel calmer, more confident, more connected. These moments are small, but they are powerful. They're signs that your brain is changing shape, adapting, learning, transforming. Every time you listen to English, especially in calm states or before sleep, you are training your brain to accept the language as familiar. And familiarity is the foundation of fluency. Think about the languages you already speak. You never think about grammar rules when you use them. You simply speak. Words come because your brain has heard them thousands of times in real situations. Your native language feels effortless because your brain has practiced it without pressure since you were a child. At night, while you slept as a child, your brain organized your language memories in the same way it organizes English now. Learning a new language as an adult is different, but the brain still follows many of the same rules. It still loves repetition. It still grows stronger with routine. It still remembers emotional experiences. It still learns better when you feel calm and safe. And it still uses sleep to build deeper connections. So when you listen to English before you sleep, you are giving your brain exactly what it needs. Clarity, repetition, peace, and time. Time is the secret tool of language learning. Not intensity, not speed, not pressure. Time. Time allows ideas to mature. Time allows memory to grow. Time allows new structures to become natural. Each night becomes part of your study process, even if you are not aware of it. While you sleep, your brain returns to the English you heard during the day. It reviews the rhythms, the sounds, the patterns. It strengthens the connections that were not strong enough before. It helps the language move from short-term memory toward long-term understanding. You do not need to force anything. You simply need to continue. That is how all great progress happens. Now imagine this. You go to bed tonight and listen to a short English story you learned earlier in the day. The words feel familiar. The phrases feel comfortable. You close your eyes. The story continues. Your breathing slows. Your mind becomes quiet. While you sleep, your brain continues the work. It reviews the sentences again. It strengthens the vocabulary. It organizes the meaning. It prepares you for the next day. And tomorrow, when you speak or listen or read, something will feel a little easier. Maybe you will not notice immediately, but the improvement will be there. It always is. Every repetition counts. Every night counts. Every gentle effort becomes part of your fluency. So trust your journey. Trust the soft progress you cannot see. Trust the quiet intelligence of your mind. You are not learning in a straight line. You are learning in waves. Sometimes you feel fast. Sometimes you feel slow. Sometimes you feel confident. Sometimes you feel stuck. All of these feelings are normal. All of them are part of real growth. What matters is that you continue with kindness toward yourself. No pressure. No rush. Just steady steps. Just gentle nights with English guiding your dreams. The reason sleep learning feels comforting is because it removes fear. It removes the idea that learning must be stressful or difficult. It teaches you that English can fit naturally into your life. It can live in your morning thoughts, your evening moments, your quiet nights. It becomes part of your identity slowly, patiently, beautifully. Now take a slow breath and let your body relax once more. Feel the gentle quiet inside you. Feel the soft movement of your thoughts. Feel the possibility of learning in a new way. Because this is your journey, your English, your mind, your night, your growth. And every time you listen, you're teaching your brain to trust the language. You're teaching it that English is safe, simple, familiar, and part of your daily life. So as we reach the end of this long and peaceful lesson, I want to remind you of something important. You are capable of learning more than you imagine. You are capable of growing at any age. You are capable of changing your habits. You are capable of becoming fluent step by step. You are capable of speaking with confidence and clarity. And you are capable of building a mind that welcomes English with ease. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to the channel English Practice Today. And before you go, leave a comment telling me something about your own experience with nightly learning. Have you ever studied English before sleeping? Do you listen to English while you rest? Your comment will help you practice writing and will also help other learners feel connected to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.